Welcome to the 10th annual meeting of the Fredericksburg-Este Association. Chuck, would you close that door? Thanks. Our intrepid group got together in 2014 and spent about 15 months writing articles of incorporation and bylaws and shepherding that through the maze of qualifying for a 501c3, got our charter, and held our first official annual meeting on March 15th in 2015. So this is our 10th year. Oh my. Anyway, it is a wonderful thing. We have thrived. We have, oh my, we've had such good times. And I've learned so much about Italy and the people who love her. So, welcome. And I did not run off any paper copies of any of this. We are happy to run off anything you like. This slideshow will be posted on Facebook. It will also be on the website, and the financial disclosures you can have a copy of. I think Chip actually ran off some copies if you want that. But this is our agenda for tonight. The first thing is the review of our 24-25 activities, which I'm doing in a PowerPoint. Then Chip will give our financial report, and then the membership report will be Chip Willis and Pamela Booth, our membership chair. Then we will have election of the board of candidates, and Chip Willis served as the nominating committee.
Good thing Chip Willis is here.
We began last year on March 20th with the usual suspects. I wanted to say that the German sister city is in town tonight. They re-signed their charter today in city council chambers, and they are having their big welcome dinner tonight. So we have a lot of crossover members. So probably we don't have as many members tonight as were eligible to come. I had several who said, I regret this. You know, it is what it is. I have to plan this months ahead, and I couldn't change it. We elected 2 new board members, Kathy Walker as secretary and Jackie Boyce as communication. Jackie did this for many a year as a professional and also a magazine writer, and so the nature of our communications has changed, and she's upped the game, I'll just say it that way. So we're glad to have Jackie aboard. These are pictures from last year at annual meeting here. Again, if you want to read the report itself, it will be on the website. So, lots of pictures of lots of friends. And then we went on to the All Sister City potluck. I will make an announcement about this year's potluck, which is coming up shortly after that. The All Sister City group started under the mayorship of Mary Catherine Greenlaw, and we find ourselves doing more and more in conjunction with the other sister cities. We had a very successful run doing fundraising for Ukraine. I'm sure that you are aware that we raised $17,000 here, $24,000 here. And then because we held it until Matching Tuesday, we had an impact of $74,000, which was a great and wonderful success, and got a picture in the paper and all of that. So we've been doing things with Sister City. Mary Catherine Greenlaw and Brenda Martin instigated the desire to have an All Sister City potluck, and we are now in our 5th iteration or 6th iteration of that, and it will be at Dorothy Hart on April 10th. I will tell you more about it at that time. But we are also getting together because next year is the 250th anniversary of our nation. And so we are talking with all sister city representatives about how the sister cities can join together to have an impact for honoring the kind of cultural heritage and richness of our nation's life that our sister cities have brought to our area. So be looking for that. These are obviously the Nepalese doing their wonderful thing in their wonderful costumes. Last year we also instigated the raffle for each sister city making a basket of typical products from the country. We will be doing that again. Odil's birthday was acknowledged with a birthday cake at that time. Frejus did the sister city dinner last year, and this time it's our turn, and we are well on our way to organizing that. We already have the ABC permit, most important, right? On May 17th, Lisa and David Durham loaned us their beautiful home, and we gave a very successful member appreciation night. Members brought their friends to encourage their memberships from that. We're hoping to repeat something like that membership appreciation later in the year. More pictures from that lovely night. Flowers and food and lots of friendship and talk. Beautiful home, beautiful setting. Lots of faces. There's Jackie greeting people at the door with our new brochure. And then Jackie had the brilliant idea of starting informal dinner and informal lunch conversation groups. Renato's meets at the last Thursday for lunch, and the Orfino dinner is held on the third Thursday every month. Jackie lived in Italy for several years when she was younger, and she's our resident speaker. And between her and Kathy Herndon and several other people who bring vocabulary and phrases and that sort of thing, we muddle through and have a wonderful time. So I recommend that to you. You can email Jackie and let her know that you would like to attend. More of the Italian dinner and Renato's lunch. Kathy and Natalie and our own Pamela there. And then in April, we sent a delegation of adults to Este for the adult exchange, and this is part of the welcoming ceremonies that our members received when they got there. I've taken several pictures of this. It really doesn't need a whole lot of commentary. I just wanted to give you a flavor of what they saw and how festive and friend-filled it was. Beautiful tours, museums, as you know, vineyards and medieval festival, and of course, the food. And dancing. And Campari on the courtyard, prosciutto factory tour, wonderful gatherings at Lorena and Renato's beautiful home in the countryside. Giotto Chapel, medieval festival, the fair, just lots of fun, lots of cultural notes in this kind of visit. And then we take off in the summer. But then Pietro Pistorio, son of Paola and Marcello came. He is 18, matriculating into the University of Padua, and so he came and stayed with us for about 2 weeks. Chip and I hosted him, and lots of people pitched in so that he got a true flavor of this entire region. Lovely fellow, perfect English, just a pleasure, just a pleasure. So Lisa and David Durham took him to Washington. We took him to the Fred Nats baseball game. What fun. They won on their way to the championship. So the younger people got to run the bases, and there's Pietro doing his thing. You can tell he's quite athletic. We all hate him, right? Lots of food here too. We had him sample all kinds of ethnic restaurants in the area. Sue Henderson, who is the head of the Stafford Museum and headed up this recreation of the Langley glider with the Hornung family. If you haven't been up to Stafford Airport, you need to go. This is a fabulous exhibit. They went down to Langley Air Force Base in Texas. They worked with the Smithsonian. This is an exact replica. Alexander Graham Bell was a good friend of Langley, and so Bell took all the photographs of the actual event. All the background on that is at the Stafford Airport, because that whole airport has been turned into kind of an interactive museum. You need to go. It's really interesting. Anyway, we took some friends and went up there, and Sue gave us the guided tour. And then Sue and Rick and Chip and I took Pietro on the Rappahannock upstream from the dock. First time he'd been in a kayak. There we are. Very different look at Fredericksburg from the river. If you've not done that, it's a thrill. And our friends Doc and Helen Norton are very much into the Scottish games, so we went up to Loudoun County and spent the day there. Fascinating stuff, pole throwing, hurling, all kinds of big man stuff. It was fun. Then we had an all-member party picnic in Willis's backyard, where everybody in the membership could come and meet with Pietro, and he could express his gratitude. What a nice time. There he is, speaking in his flawless English, apologizing all the way. And then there's Scott and Kathy Walker, who, traitors that they are, took him to UVA and bought him a t-shirt. We reciprocated by tricking him out with everything Virginia Tech, believe me. We also took him over to the Patawamet Museum, which is also fascinating if you haven't been over there. Got a guided tour, saw a lot of really significant collection items that told the story of the Patawamets on the Potomac. Once more, kayaks in the car, up to Crow's Nest. The blooms on the lilies had all faded, but it was still just lovely and serene. Lots of fun. Kathy Herndon in her art spirit house. And then Bob and Barbara Antozzi gave a, what?
I'm sorry, but that's Chip, but he just looks extremely excited.
Yeah, oh well.
That's the guy that's on the 4 items on the agenda tonight.
He tries, bless his heart. But anyway, we gave we gave a party for everybody who hosted or did things with Pietro. So it was a more intimate affair, but it was a kind of thank you to everybody who hosted.
Notice the shirt.
I noticed the shirt.
Lots of fun on the Antozzi's back deck. Good friends, lots of good food. Do you notice food and wine as a theme here? So, final dinner at Sammy T's, final dessert at Carl's, and off to Italy, where he's doing very well at the university. He's majoring in mechanical systems, which should serve him well since his parents do the prosciutto factory, yes? Bright boy. Anyway, so here's a list of everyone who helped and hosted: the Willises, the Walkers, the Antozzis, Rick and Sue Henderson, Kathy Herndon, Natalie Bullock, Doc and Helen Norton, Bill Brooks and Linda Allen, David and Lisa Durham, Jack and Jenny East, Pat and Earl Boffman, Jackie Boyce and Cairo Pons, Scarlett and Gabe's son, who palled around with him one afternoon, and they went up to Mary Washington and somehow got mixed up in the orientation class with the freshman class. That's kind of cool. Anyway, on to Pizza Palooza. We did it at Riverfront Park, big change, much bigger venue. Here we are, getting things ready. Who is that? Antosi and who's raising the
That's
flag?
Phil O'Deal.
Is it Philip?
Yeah, it's Philip Pryor.
There's a hum here.
Pull it down.
Mr. O'Deal.
Yeah. Is that all right?
Yeah, talk past it and you won't be spitting.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so we made it look presentable, created a barrier by putting yellow ribbon all around it. And here we are, all set up and ready to go. Are there clouds in the sky? More clouds. People came out, lots and lots of people. Pizzas from several different vendors. Everybody pitched in and served and kept up with the crowd demand. Here we are again. There's Jackie at the entrance table. That's Pat and in Ron Tebbett at the ticket table. There is Keena Hingy and Matt and Natalie Bullock at the wine table. There is Jenna Edwards. Jenna Edwards, as you know, was elected last year in March, to be our new Sister City president. She made it through the summer and Pizza Palooza, but she has a very demanding job and finally came to her senses and said, I can't do all of this. So we love Jenna. We wish her all the best as she continues her career as communications for the National Archives and is also prepping for the National Archives for their Virginia 250, or their National 250 exhibit. So you can see why she wisely decided that she needed to concentrate on her professional career. And we also said goodbye, sniff, sniff, to Acoustic Onion. They broke up. Their last play date was in December of this year. We went, we love them to death, but we certainly understand that enough is enough. We had, probably, 800 people? Chip?
Yeah.
About 800. People came out, they loved it. It was a big enough venue that you could get away and talk, or you can sit and listen to music. The lines were manageable. We were very pleased at our organization and our layout. And Marco Pizza was our big pizza vendor winner, and Jenna gave them the certificate and made a big deal at the bandstand. Acoustic Onion had already closed down because by this time the lightning had started. And then at 8 p.m. it rained. And then it was a true deluge. Let me tell you, it was a washout, but there was an intrepid group of stalwart volunteers. We cleaned up wet paper. We cleaned up wet pizza boxes. We closed down tents. We gathered tablecloths. About midnight, it looked like Oompa Loompa trash bags, bagged in wet globs on the street. And at midnight, we stacked what we could in pickup trucks and in SUVs and took them away, but there was still trash on the street. And so the good city people came back in the morning and cleaned up the trash, but they charged us for it. Somebody has to pay the piper. So, nonetheless, we decided to celebrate because we had worked hard and it almost worked. So we had a big pizza party for everybody who served and helped, and we held it at Pamela Booth's house and had pizza from the winner, which is our tradition. We buy pizza for the volunteers from the winner of the Pizza Palooza. And look, guys, we always have fun. So, here's the pizza party on the back deck in the dining room. in the kitchen, and then take a break for Christmas, and then on to La Befana, which we held in the accommodating back room of Renato's, and lots of chat, lots of wine before we finally sat down. More of that, more laughter, more friendship, more talk, more wine. Ditto, ditto, ditto. And then more of that. And then more of that. This is all at the at La Befana. I think we needed a break.
There he
And
is.
then our intrepid Kathy Herndon told us all about La Befana, and there is our profile of our excellent La Befana, who visited every table and told everybody just how nasty they had been. It was great. I'm sure it was cathartic. And then in February, the end of February, we had our first lecture of the year. This was really interesting. This was the Italian American Society of Richmond, Virginia, which petitioned City Council in Richmond to take possession of the Columbus statue that had been beaten and sprayed and ripped off its pedestal during the George Floyd demonstrations. They took it, they put it in storage, they raised the money, they hired a professional sculptor who is well known in Virginia to oversee the restoration, and he finished the fine points of the restoration, and then came the difficult task of finding where they could reinstall it. Several entities that were approached that said, we'll pay for it if you will take it, said, we don't think the time is right. And they finally connected with an Italian-American society which has a large acreage enclosure just north of New York City, and they agreed to take the statue, and so they worked together to have a pedestal created and to find a proper setting in the Italian-American Society private grounds in New York State, just above New York City. And so these people, they raised thousands of dollars to do this, and then saw to it that it was properly installed up in New York. And so the whole group from Richmond went up to New York for this installation. John Coratone was the head of the project, and then Paul De Pasquale was the sculptor who oversaw the restoration and did the finishing touches, and also oversaw the installation of the Columbus statue in New York. We had a lovely spread. Once again, our intrepid volunteers bring wonderful things. And of course there was wine. It was in the basement of St. George's. We got great coverage. This is Paul Pasquale, who was the sculptor who oversaw the restoration of this statue. He is also the sculptor who created King Neptune down at Virginia Beach on the boardwalk. He is also the sculptor who designed and had installed the statue of Arthur Ashe on Monument Avenue in Richmond. So he was the one who took charge of this, and after John Coratone talked about the whole process and how they raised the money and why they did it, Paul Pasquale talked about the importance and place of monuments and statues in our current society. It was very interesting, it was very reflective. I, not being Italian, really did not understand how important the reputation and standing of Christopher Columbus is to Italian Americans. They treasure Columbus. They know that his life was not perfect, but they want to reestablish a respect for his entrepreneurship, how he advanced navigation, his ability to rally diverse people around new exploration, and They want him to have due credit for the good that he did do in opening up America to the old country. Susan.
Just today I learned that Christopher Columbus was down in the Caribbean, and he told the people down there, he says, I have seen these hurricanes. There's a hurricane coming, and it's going to devastate this area. You need to move these ships over to this more protected bay, the ships that they were going to send back to Europe, and they wouldn't do it. He moved his ships over to that protected bay, and his ships were protected, but all the other ships were destroyed except for one that had some of his stuff that was going back to Europe on. That one didn't get destroyed, but he had warned them, and they didn't listen to him.
Well, thank you, Susan. To the point, right? To the point. Different time, different set of values. I mean, there's no doubt that Columbus did some heinous things, and we all know that. But do you throw everything out? Anyway, it was very interesting. They brought a whole delegation up from Richmond, and again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that the people who come to these lectures, who come to annual meeting, who come to all the fun we have, give freely and excellently of foods to accompany the wine. And I think that kind of giving and the interchange is part of the reason this organization has been so successful, and we find ourselves building friendships from it. Not just the trips, and not just the hosting, but just being together right here in our city. I love it. I think it's great. We got great coverage for this. We were on the front of the Freelance Star. We were in front of the Richmond Times-Dispatch. We got coverage from a lot of online sources, and I think it helped raise the awareness of the importance of Italian-American heritage. This is the statue in New York, restored, and this was on the day of the dedication. The Italian-American Society in Richmond also did a bronze plaque which explained the source and the story of the restoration, and it is at the foot of Columbus, and it is in a little pocket garden there at the entrance to this community building that the Italian-American Society maintains. So every time you walk, you get to see this. So I think they did a fine job, and I really admire their perseverance. It couldn't have been easy. It took them 2 years to get the city of Richmond to give them the statue.
And you missed the part about the statue had actually been thrown into some kind of a lake too.
Yes, it was
after
a
it'd been defaced. Body of water.
defined pond there. Yeah. If you look online, you can see the Columbus statue submerged. It's not a very deep pond. So you can see where it was pitched. So. As I mentioned before, we have increased our support of other sister cities. And for the second year in a row, we had a Ghana Friendship Day. The first time was last year at St. George's, and this time it was at Shiloh Old Site Baptist Church. Several of our members were there. Several members of other sister cities were there. The ambassador and staff from the Ghana Embassy in Washington came, and they had a full program. Mayor Devine was there. Lots of people that we knew from other associations were there too. So it's just one more way that Sister City increases the friendship and understanding in our own town. And now we've come for a second. We are back to annual meeting tonight. Just a bit about what's next here. The next thing is All Sister City Potluck. It is on Thursday, April 10th at 5 p.m. If you haven't bought your ticket, Chip, I think we can accept the money tonight.
Sure.
Because Este, as you know, is sponsoring this. We have met in committee twice to plan this. Dorothy Hart, oh, I have to tell you something. I have to give credit to our city. The fees for rental of city property is going up exponentially. Evidently, the burden is on the rentals themselves to raise the money to help sustain the budgets of these buildings, Dorothy Hart being no exception. When we went to rent Dorothy Hart, which is our traditional place, to have the Sister City potluck, it was $1,100 for the rental and $200 deposit because we were going to serve wine. And that was just the start, because we were asking for the kitchen and a wine license and the use of the facility itself, and we also have to pay a Dorothy Hart employee to be there while the event is going on. Well, that is a big burden on top of supplying the wine and the decorations and everything else you need to do to put on an event this size. I mean, it's 75 or 100 people. So, I am sorry Brenda Martin is not here, but about 2 years ago, we were asked if we wanted to join Sister City International, and the city took care of those dues as an umbrella organization to pay for the dues in collective for all the sister cities in Fredericksburg. We had tried working with Sister City International earlier, several years back, and we collectively decided at that point, I'm sorry about this home, that Sister City International was just that. They were interested in sister city partnerships all over the world. We are concentrated in Fredericksburg. That's about all we have the energy for. And so we paid the dues. We decided that it was not worth the investment, and so we collectively decided not to renew our membership. However, that money in the city budget was still allocated for Sister City. So with the Sister City Council group that we do when we meet, we all collectively agreed with Brenda that what we ought to do is to apply to have that money set aside to pay the rental for Dorothy Hart, so that we would not have to undertake that kind of a rental on top of the ABC license and everything else that is encompassed by doing the Sister City. And they approved it, and they paid for the rent.
So,
JC!
understand,
City gave us
the
money for
city
Dorothy
gave
Hart.
it to you.
Yes, the city paid for the rent for Dorothy Hart and all the ancillary expenses out of the small Sister City fund that the council had allocated for Sister City support. Hooray. This stuff is getting really expensive, which puts more and more burden on the fundraising, but in return, the fundraising is more expensive. So, working together, we'll find a solution. Anyway, if you haven't bought your ticket yet, please do. I'm sure it will be a great fun. And what, just briefly, instead of having display tables for each sister city, which nobody really looks at because what they're interested in is drinking wine and having hors d'oeuvres and talking with each other, this year we are asking each of the sister cities to send to me 6 or 8 or 10 slides about what they've done for the year. And so we're going to be doing the awareness of what other sister cities are doing by a PowerPoint, which I think makes good sense. Coming up on April the 6th, our wonderful Odile put this together, but we have a collective group of tickets for the National Symphony Orchestra on April 6th, which is a Sunday. We're going to meet at the Marriott.
No. The
The Hyatt. I knew that was wrong. The Hyatt over in Eagle Village, and leave from there at about 11 and go up to the Kennedy Center and have lunch in their cafeteria. And then the NSO performance starts at 3 that afternoon, and the Italian hook-in is that it is Mendelssohn's 4th Symphony, his Italian symphony. So that should be great fun. We have a bus, we pay for the parking, we get it done, we do it right. Next year, our big pizza party will be returning to Market Square in September of 2025 this year. And I believe it's September 21st?
20.
September 20th. So, look forward to that. Do you see how many people came to this? And we are also planning for our 10th anniversary. It will be probably in October, but maybe in November. We are meeting with Massimo online tomorrow to talk about planning for that. But they will be coming here. There will be a delegation of 10 Italians who will come. We will renew our charter to re-up our sister city relationship with Este. We'll have a big commemorative celebration, and because it is the 250th anniversary of our country, we are programming an Americana theme. We're going to have gospel singers and interaction with the Patawama Indians, square dancers, all kinds of Americana influences, bluegrass, and Americana traditions in food. So we hope to tell the Italians about our own brief heritage, but still we are proud. So that's coming up in the fall of 2025, and we'll let you know. Pardon?
The date on that,
We are giving them a choice of October or November. We have both months scheduled out. We're having a conference call with them tomorrow to let them see what the possible programming is and to decide. We talked long and hard about this. We know that they would love to come here for Pizza Palooza, but Pizza Palooza is a lot of work, and we are old. And so we sort of collectively decided that in order to have a robust, 10th anniversary for them, that we needed to do it in time other than Pizza Palooza, because it's too much, it's too challenging to keep up tours and whose house and where are we going and that sort of thing at the same time we're doing Pizza Palooza. And so we are offering them October or November, same schedule, different days. November has, of course, the asset that it is Thanksgiving, and it also is Veterans Day. So the ceremony for Veterans Day at the War Memorial is very moving. But October is a more clement time, and we don't know what they have on their plate. So we're meeting with them tomorrow, and we should know pretty soon. We've also been thinking about what commemorative gift to give them, and what that whole thing is going to be shaped like. So we will let you know. We'll let you know. So now we are back to our agenda. Are there any questions or comments about what I've done so far with the review of the year?
What are the tickets for the symphony?
The ticket, the transportation, the parking is $60. Yeah, which is a pretty good deal for the whole thing. We got intrepid drivers, we rented the van, we'll bring snacks and water on the bus. And you can also bring your lunch to the cafeteria at the top of the Kennedy Center. And we've given a little wiggle time in there, so you can go up on the roof and see the marvelous view of Washington from the roof on the Kennedy Center. Another thing, several of you have said I didn't get the notice. We try very hard to keep our membership roster up to date with the correct email and correct information. If you didn't get this, or if your email has changed, see Chip Willis, and we will correct that and put it on the membership roster, because we use those emails as a collective BCC to send out notices to our members. And if your email is not correct, or if you've not been receiving the kind of information that you want, please make sure that that's correct. Okay? Also, if there's any confusion about whether you have paid your dues this year or not, Chip and our membership chair, Grandma back here, also have the complete up-to-date roster on that. One other thing I want to tell you, and this just as an FYI, in the Sister City Council, we had a presentation at our last kind of roundtable meeting from the community orchestra, or the community
It's a band.
community band of Fredericksburg. This is a group of about 60 adults who get together and play for the sheer joy of it. And they came to say, organizations in the Fredericksburg area can ask them to send a quartet, or you know, their brass quartet has very seasoned professionals, and they are excellent. They play in paid positions in several other orchestras, but they play here just for the pleasure of it. And so if you have an occasion or event where you want a small group, or you'd like to have the full-blown orchestra perform for you, it's the Fredericksburg Community Orchestra. And we are going to start using them in some of our sister city gatherings to provide music, say, for national anthems or for period pieces in Americana, which is how we're going to plug them into our 10th anniversary celebration. Okay? Susie.
This is just a little joke, but I was just reading. I don't even live in Stafford, but Stafford is now starting the 55+ softball and basketball league. They're trying to. A few years ago, I would have gone for the softball, but I can't. I just thought I'd tell you. Stafford County, Parks and Rec.
Our treasurer is up next.
Who left?
And again, all of this is in this PowerPoint because I just think it's wasteful to run off all this paper. So I'll give it to Chip.
This is a snapshot in time of March 10th. I have about 10 copies of hard copies if somebody wants one after. Just a few highlights. We brought in about $18,000. Last year, see, the total Este income was $13,000 last year. And the reason was because Pizza Palooza was completely washed out last year at her camp park. And
2 years in a row, rain out.
This year, we got a half a washout. So we were able to raise some money. So as you can see there, we brought in about $11,000 for Pizza Palooza 24. Our membership total for this year is $41.41, the little piece there. You can see that. And we had some donations to the Bill Carter Cultural Fund. For those of you that don't know, Bill Carter was a very active member and passed away suddenly. And so we decided, and he was very much involved in choirs and so forth. So we set that up as a memorial concert, free concert we've been having most every year. Lava Fana Dinner brought in about $2,000 there, and we've started to get in money for the Sister City potluck, $172. So is Paige down going to do this?
Yep.
All right. Expenses, our administrative expenses, one of the items I wanted to show there under state corporation registration fees, last year was $25, this year is $100, because we changed our registered agent and they charge us $75 to do that. Another thing I'd like to point out, last year our liability insurance was almost $1,200. Talked to our insurance agent and they were able to get us through another provider, and we only paid about $800 this year for the same thing. So that was a nice savings there. Most everything else up there, P.O. box rent creeps up every year. Publicity and promotion is, we bought water bottles and baseball caps and things like that to give to volunteers at events. And so that's what that's all about. And,
It's very nice.
yeah, I think that's everything of any consequence on that page. That's all. The artist exchange programs was last year. This year we spent $430 on lectures. We had to give $100 to Italian American people this year, and the rest of it is like food and wine like that. Okay, fundraising. You can see each Pizza Palooza expenses. If you remember, our Pizza Palooza income last year was right at $11,000. It cost us $11,400. So, because we got, the problem is that we make all our money on the beer and wine. Well, people come in there and they buy pizza and they eat that, and then they go sit down and listen to the music and buy beer and wine. Well, we got rained out right after they got through eating pizza. So anyway, we missed the biggest piece of our fundraiser, but we broke even, and that also includes sponsors that we got. Previous year, we got a bunch of sponsors. We got rained out, and most of them, we said, well, we'll give you your money back, and those guys said, well, you can just keep it. We said, well, thank you. Anyway, but we had to roll it over this year. So we had to get new sponsors. So between that and the income, we managed to pretty much break even, which I thought was pretty good. We've already, on Pizza Palooza 25 coming up, we've already spent some money for site venue and other things like that. We have to put deposits down for stuff. So like I said, this is kind of a snapshot in time. And I didn't mention that. Let me go back just a little bit. La Befana dinner, 1/12/25. We brought in $2,037, and it cost us, there it is, $1,865. So you made a little piece of money on it. We try to pretty much break even on those events like that. We want people to come and have a good time, and you don't want to pick your pocket every time you turn around. And so, pretty much, the U.S. visit to Este in April of 24, we purchased gifts for the people going there to give to the mayor and the city officials. That's pretty much a standard thing every time we do that. So, when the shooting dies down and smoke clear away, we made $766 last year, and then our total bank balance is $25,207. So we, yes ma'am.
Have the Pizza Palooza down for 24.
Well, what that is, I've got, if you go back up to the top, I've got both years side by side, 23, 24, 24, 25. So that's that. You understand? If you don't talk to me later, I'll show you what we do. But anyway, and actually I was so pleased that it actually reconciled the first time. Okay, that's all I had to say about that. If there are any questions, don't bother. No. I'll be happy to answer anything you want. Okay, Captain.
Nope, not yet. Thanks.
Here are these treasurer's reports. I'll just sit right here.
I have a few other announcements. This is not under our auspices, but every year Mary Washington has a foreign film festival. And this year, the Italian film is Troubling Love. It's by Elsa Ferrante. If you heard of Elsa Ferrante, She is a brilliant and very popular Italian novelist. This is a film that she has written. PBS just put on the trilogy that was based on Ferrante's novels. Anyway, her movie, Troubling Love, is going to be the Italian offering, and it is at 7:30 on March 26th in Cones 237. I will send this out to you guys. Michelle Wing, who is the Italian professor at Mary Washington, keeps me up to date when Mary Washington has an offering, and she sent this to me a couple of days ago. What else? I think that's enough, don't you? It's still possible to get some tickets from the NSO if you want to be included on that trip. But do let me know, because I would have to go through my contact at Kennedy Center to purchase that ticket. Any questions or comments?
Do you have any kind of deadline to get?
Well, there was a deadline, and we reported in. I had something like, maybe 17 or 18 people say that they were interested. But you have to have 20 people to qualify for a group rate. So we had to drop back. We had to drop back, but we did get a group of tickets for a comparable price as it would have been for the group ticket. And so I am pretty sure that if people want to add to that, we have 14 going. We have one more space on the bus, but we decided, we had contracted for another bus, but we decided to cancel that bus, and that second bus, and if other people want to go, we will just drive an SUV separately. Okay? Anything else? Okay. I have some bragging and thanking to do. This board that we have is phenomenal. People do what they say they're going to do. They do it on time and they do it right. And it is wonderful. You know, last year we, when we appoint a nominations committee, and I explained this last year, and we changed our bylaws to accommodate this, but our volunteers on our board are willing to serve more than the 2 consecutive terms. And because it is difficult to get people to raise their hands to come on the board to replace them, we did away with the requirement that you can serve 2 consecutive terms in the same position. And our feeling was, and I think everybody in this organization agreed, that if the board members are willing to continue, they should continue. You know, as we've grown and progressed, the skills just become more and more improved. Scott Walker, where are you, Scott? He takes care of keeping us on track with who's on first and who's on second, because it is a rotating, long-term schedule so that we can keep all of our dates together and in our focus. Kathy Walker has brought a new level of excellence. She has held meetings at her house, both committee meetings and board meetings. She always makes something scrumptious, serves us like we are queens and kings, and has also come on board as our secretary. Excellent note keeper, very organized, elementary school principal forever that she was. Pat Boffman is a volunteer who comes to the fore and helps and is always there, whether it's decorations or helping with program or cooking or just general services at our organizational meetings. Chip Willis cannot ever die. Deb is wonderful. She is our webmaster. She has us, I'll send her something, and that night it's on the website. That night it's there. It's just an incredible, wonderful thing to be able to work with her and her creativity and her management of technology. Odile Pryor. I cannot say enough good things about what Odile Pryor has done with our lectures and our programming. Oh yeah, let's give her, really. She has done just a masterful job. She continues to find and organize interesting speakers. We average somewhere between 50 and 90 people at this lecture, which is pretty wonderful. It's a way that we give back and thank people. I'm arts and culture, which is where I'm going to be going after I do this, the principal project with that is to sponsor artists from here and from Este to come and stay 3 weeks as an exchange, scoping out the kind of creative community that we have in both places. Thrilling. Bob Antozzi is at large, again, point and shoot. He does what you ask him to do. He's been there, done that, and always dependable, always wonderful. So here's a round of applause to our intrepid, faithful board members. I'm so proud of this board. So now I'm sorry, Pamela Booth has come on as membership. She's taken it on, she knows what she's doing, thank God. Coordinates with Chip on membership dues and is always present to give out information on membership and is actively involved in doing membership appreciation, like the one that we did at the Durham's last year. Let me see if I've gotten everybody. Jackie Boyce I already praised because her newsletters read like professional publications. It's amazing. And she also is the one that came up with the idea and organizes the twice monthly conversational meals at different restaurants. I think that's it. Okay, Chip is in charge of the nominations. We had one office open, the presidency. So, Chip, do your thing.
Well, the nominating committee, namely me, searched far and wide.
Put the mic up.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we searched far and wide and found a victim who couldn't run fast enough. So anyway, to start this out officially, we have a meeting here. So I would ask, as the nominating committee, we are nominating Chuck Galleretto to be the new president. If there are any nominations from the floor, anybody's hand leaping into the air there? Okay, I would move that the nominations be closed.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I would just say by acclamation, please, all in favor of Chuck Galleretto being the new president of the Fredericksburg-Este Sister City Association, Inc., please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you. I would like to say one thing real quickly. Last year, when Catherine was officially not president anymore for a little bit, we had our Italian potter, what's his name?
Del Santo.
Mr. Del Santo. They manufactured some special custom pottery for us and sent it over here, and we presented it to Catherine at this meeting last year. So this year she stepped up halfway, and so you don't get nothing.
I know.
Except our undying thanks for doing a job. Membership-istically speaking, we've got about 65 members now paying, and that includes a husband and wife each. And we still have a few more folks that are signing up from time to time for our events. But we feel like we have a strong organization. There's a lot of interest in what we do. We try to not go to the well every time we turn around for money from you guys for events. And we've got a lot of interesting stuff coming up. And I'm just gonna say this real quickly. I went to get some more wine for tonight over at Rita's at City Vino, who supplies us with wine for our pizza paloozas. And she said, why don't you guys have an event at our place? We'll do cheese and wine. So at a price point, you get a glass of wine and all the cheese and prosciutto you can eat. And then there'll be a cash bar for that. So that's something that I think we're gonna try to put together here maybe sometime in the near future. All right, so whichever one of you guys wanna move in here next.
You have the keys.
Oh, yeah, oh, gosh, yes.
Hold on just a second. I also bring your attention to these gift bags over here on the piano. If you are a sustaining member, that is your sustaining member gift. They are espresso cups with our logo on it, 2 of them. So if you've not collected yours, thank you for being a sustainer. Do avail yourself of that. Okay.
I have one award here, and that is the keys to the 906 storage room and the PO box.
Thank you all. This is amazing. One thing I'd like to say, this lady here has been the focus of, she has started this association and she has led it the whole way, and she deserves a round of applause. Okay, you're done?
Yes.
All right.
You are there. It is yours.
Okay, that's, no, it's just, no, I was, don't have much to say. She's told everything we've been doing, but one thing I would like to do is, hopefully I'll learn all your names eventually. That's gonna take some time, but if you have any ideas, we do a lot as it is, but there's always, something someone else might wanna do. I'd like to grow this organization and make it, a bulwark here in Fredericksburg. So with your help, we can all do it together, and hopefully we can keep moving on. So you all take care, drive safely.